What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Legendary Founding Titan, and here today we have the final part of this series. If you don't know what we're doing with these type of tier lists, it's basically whoever's on top, basically, the leader that you pick in the game sort of deal versus everything else of the roster, the rest of the roster. As you can see, this is Brute Chieftain. These are his units. We're basically, trying to depict what he's weak and strong against, and struggles against. And we typically start with the five other leaders, as that's your opponents basically, and then we go from there and then see which unit specifically that Brute Chieftain either suffers against, weak against, or is strong against. As you can see, these are the three, tiers that we have here. If you want to see the rest of the parts for any other leader, all the parts will be in the description below. If you want to see the official tier list, that will also be where I just talk about units where they specifically are, like S tier, A tier, B tier, all that. If you want to see that tier list, that will also be in the description below. With all that out of the way, I did mention in part one that this was going to be my final vanilla tier list, and that there might be future modded tier lists out there. But because of how poorly that these tier lists have done, as all these tier lists have been doing, and for those few people that have seen, I know there is some people out there that have seen every single Halo Wars tier list. Thank you for that. But this is going to be. This is kind of why it did take me so long, like a couple days, to put this one out, because this is officially my final tier list in general with Halo Wars. Out of the vanilla, out of all the mods, because of how poorly they have been doing, it's just I don't see the reason to go further with this anymore. And also the player base is so low with Halo Wars, especially Halo Wars 1, that what's the point? Because the remaining people are more than likely just veterans. There might be a few new people out there, but they're not seeing these videos for sure. So, this is the final tier list that I will be making. Uh, it is definitely an end of an era. We've done quite a few tier lists on Halo Wars, probably like 10 to 20 tier lists between the mods, between the vanilla, base, you know, between the vanilla base game and everything. Like we've done it all. We've done all the tier lists. So without all that crap out of the way, let's go ahead and finish this bad boy once and for all. And that's kind of why Halo 3 music is playing in this one, because this is it was supposed to end with Halo 3. It ends with this. This is the final video of for my tier list making, and I'll be completely done with Halo Wars. I might even be done with Halo Wars in general, at least for a long while. As to be honest, I am quite burnt out on Halo Wars in general. Uh, as I've played the game so much. This may even be the last Halo Wars video. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Starting off with Brute Chieftain versus the Hunters. Obviously he can build these too, so it's a double-sided coin, as long, same as all the Covenant leaders, but for, all the Covenant units, I mean, but for as far as, the Hunters go, well, actually, okay, let's start with, I almost made the same mistake as Arbiter. Let's start with the leaders first, my bad. So, starting with Prophet of Regret, um, he, with Brute Chieftain's kit, his special units don't do anything in the air. But because he's Covenant, I would say he's strong against. Mainly just because of the Vampire. You only need one Vampire to beat a Tier 3 Prophet. And that's it. I mean, honestly, and you came and make the argument, like, well, what if you don't upgrade a Tier 3 Prophet? Well, you would want to anyway, because Jackals will literally snipe Prophet to death within a few shots. So there's not a point that you would keep him on the ground either. He'll be destroyed by PT Scorpion tanks. Yeah, Prophet's definitely the easiest to counter for any Covenant leader, simply because of Vampire's existence. Arbiter. Um, I would go as far to say that Arbiter is um I think I'll say Arbiter is probably around struggles against. I think early game it's to be a tough time just because Arbiter can beat Brute Chieftain in a full-on 1v1 fight, and he is really effective against infantry in early game, and will in any point in the game really. Uh, but I wouldn't say he's weak against or strong against. I just say he's kind of borderline in the middle, really. I think he's just uh, it's kind of 50-50 for Cheetah to be an arbiter, kind of deal. Pro Profit. Anders, Professor Anders. Um, I think Professor Anders. I don't think because of Covenant. I don't think he's weak, but definitely a struggle. Definitely a struggle. I think. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it there. I think Chieftain definitely would be struggles. I think Anders is definitely much more of an issue than Arbiter in this case, is because she's got the cryos, she's got the disruptor bomb that stopped the Chieftain's vortex. Obviously because she's Unit C. So yeah, definitely a tougher time for Chieftain since Chieftain's also like the slowest leader based on movement speed. But he is the tankiest, so there is that. But most of the time, Anders is kind of like building in the air, and Chieftain's kit alone, while he does have the vampire because he's Covenant, his kit does get uh a little nerfed when you're comparing him to the other Covenant leaders versus a Anders because Arbiter can jump up in the air and hit air, Prophet can beam areas pretty well and kill them pretty quickly. Chieftain can't vortex an army of Hawks. Like, it's just not going to happen. The Hawks are just too fast. I mean, you can vortex them, but it's not going to do a lot of damage unless you have a huge vortex. And if they have a huge vortex, they're either cryoing, disrupting, or running away from you. That's it until you lose that vortex. And then they're just going to come back. And then, yeah, like, it's not. It's definitely more of a struggle. I mean, just because of Vampire's existence, it is, you know, it's not like Anders is like a weakness of his, but it's definitely like higher end of struggles against, I'd say. Captain Cutter. Uh, I think Captain Cutter, because of the early game, it definitely could go here, but I'm gonna say it's more like right here. I think Cutter is a bigger issue than Arbiter in this case, because like I said, I truly think that Arbiter versus a Chieftain is like a 50-50 shot, whereas Chieftain versus a Cutter is like a 55 Chieftain, 45 Cutter. It's mainly because, like, I've always stated this, Cutter is like the king of Halo Wars, essentially. Um, and I don't think Cutter is as big of an issue as Anders, but I definitely think because of what Cutter can do, because like if you're vortexing, he can just mag blast you. He's obviously got the PT tanks, which I mean all the units do, but still. I mean, I'm kind of like saying if you use the PT turrets and the mag blast roughly at the same time, a cheat will pretty much instantly die from that. Like, instantly. Doesn't matter if he's, like, starred or not. He will instantly die to that. Um, so Cutter is a really big threat. You really gotta keep your eyes on your Chieftain's health when facing a Cutter, that's for sure. Sergeant Forge. Um, I'd say strong against. I feel like even if Forge tries a rush, I mean Chieftain's known for like the rushing king practically because his brutes are really strong. Like he's definitely like the hardest character by far to rush with warthogs because even if he's building a few brutes, those brutes will tear those hogs up, dude. Especially if they get upgrades, they will tear hogs up. And Chieftain's also very strong against warthogs because he can stun them at tier 2, which is very easy to get because I mean Warthogs have to be like tier 2 to tier 3, and more than likely Chieftain will be like on the same power level as those hogs, probably. And it doesn't need to. It doesn't. He doesn't even need to be tier 2 to be able to beat a hog. Like he could be tier 1 because even then he can still stun. So, and he'll pretty much kill a warthog almost instantly. So yeah, I think like rushing a chieftain isn't going to be doing too well, and Forge's end game is even worse than his early game. Like his early game is the only thing that's good about Forge. So, and chieftain kind of just beats him down because of that. Because chieftain's early game is even better, just because his offense is so strong. So yeah, you can't really rush against a chieftain. I'd say chieftain's definitely like up there versus a forge. Hunters, um, definitely just struggles against. I would build some wraiths, but not often. Like not really. I typically when I play chieftain, I'm building brutes. I'm building uh air. I like to build. My favorite combo with chieftain is like brutes, and I like building brutes. I like building some like simple wraiths. I don't really fully commit to wraiths though. Like I don't like fully upgrade them. I'll get heavy shield on them, and I'll just have them as like artillery support, and that's it. I'll only build like a couple of them too. I'll only build like 2 or 3, and then that'll be good enough for me. I just use them as like a mortar. That's it. And then I'll just have like a bunch of banshees overhead. That's typically what I like to do as Brute Chieftain, but my main focus is to upgrade Chieftain, his brutes, and then the second focus is getting banshees online, getting those guys, fully upgraded. And then Wraith I will never fully upgrade a Wraith unless I get to like late game, because I'm only like using them as like mortar support. That's it. Yeah, Hunters are kind of just gonna stay there though, because I don't build. For me, I don't see you building many vehicles as chieftain. Honestly, you're mainly building like I feel like you're mainly want to build like uh infantry, mainly infantry. Like I feel like he's more of an infantry focus, whereas like Arbiter is more of an infantry slash air support. I think chieftain's like you're wanting to build more infantry more than anything else. Because he's the biggest counter to like vehicles, Because brutes can stun them, brutes can block them with the jump jets, and hunters can keep up with them. You know what I mean? Like I think chieftain's like the ultimate vehicle killer. Uh, but like factory vehicles in general for the Covenant are more like utility slash support type of shit, because you have the scouts, ghosts and choppers are just scouts basically. You know what I mean? And then locusts are just building killers. So like, yeah, I mean like you're not really using them for like a full army. You're using them for like a simple utility shit, and that's kind of why I do believe they just go there, because you're not building vehicles that much as Covenant in general. Besides like support. Vulture strong against everyone's strong against a vulture. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are, pretty much. Forge is like the one character I said is like lower end struggles against because he doesn't have powers or nothing. But even then, he can still build Wolverines to kill them. He doesn't even need powers to deal with them. So fuck it. Vampires can easily destroy these in a 1v1 or 1v2, no problem at all. And it's an uber unit. It sucks ass. It costs too much. It's slow as dog turds. Absolutely butt ass fucking useless unit. I hate this fucking unit. It shouldn't even be in the damn game. It's so goddamn useless. Jackal. Like I said before, it's definitely one of those like 50 like double-sided coin sort of deal. I'd say there mainly because you're building them as well, probably as chieftain. It's not your main focus, but you're not completely straying away from them. I feel you might build like a few as a way to kill Spartans quickly. That's it. That's all I use them for. Like I'll build like 3 or 4 sniper jackals just to quickly kill a Spartan so they don't hijack my wraiths or something. Speaking of Wraith, Goes in. I'm not setting it there. I'm setting it strong against. They can. I mean, brutes can kill scorpions pretty quick. Wraiths are even less. You know, they have less health. So yeah, Wraith definitely goes down there. Um, Gremlin, strong against. Oh, strong against. Like I said, you're just not really building vehicles to begin with. Not really. You're building them for like support. That's really it. Locust, same thing. Uh, yeah. I mean, and you can't really surprise anyone. Like no one can really surprise you with Locust unless you are at another person's base and you're attacking them, right? But like if a Chieftain goes back to his base, it will take him no time at all to smash to an army of Locusts. Like no time at all. I mean, even his vortex, even if it's not like full of shit in it, you know what I mean? He can suck those Locusts up like nothing and kill them instantly. So what's the point? Banshee struggles against. No one's truly safe from them, but this is definitely on the lower end of struggles against because brutes aren't half bad at killing them, and vampires are just fucking nuts at killing them. So yeah, they go there. Yeah, okay, I was looking at the wrong thing for a minute there. Flame burners, flame on, bitch. While I did say I want to build infantry, but like jackals are so much better. Like Unit C are not thinking of these guys to kill you with, unless they have like not enough money for tanks. Yeah, like you know, they're building these guys only in early game, mid game, maybe. But you know, tanks are just so much better at killing infantry. So you might see these guys, but more often than not, like your jackals are gonna completely counter them. So I'll just put them behind a jackal for now, and we'll discuss that later. Where they go on the fucking list there. Fucking ads, dude. I tell you what. Ghost. Fucking Ghost. Ghost goes strong against. Um, yeah. I mean, I got nothing to say about it. I mean, it's a ghost. Everyone's strong against it. Elephant, same thing. You could jump on it with a couple of brutes. You came and like utilize them to lock down like a pad on your base because Cheetah can literally just pull it. So it can't even do the one thing it's really good at, which is like preventing you from building something on there. You know what I mean? It's not even good at that because you can just pull it with Chieftain's thing. So, and he can pretty much kill in like 2 hits. So fucking yeah, it goes there. Suicide grunts strong against. That's just yeah. You're not really getting surprised by that. I wouldn't think. Jackals are just really good. Brutes are really good. I mean brutes. I mean everything's good against them. They're weak as hell in health. So yeah, Cobra, same thing as I said before with the Gremlin and you know everything else with vehicles related shit. While you can struggle with it, it's just you know you could easily get brutes on there. I honestly think that Chieftain's one of the strongest counters to Cobras. Like I would say, like this is like the bottom of the barrel that you can build against a Chieftain because like a Chieftain can quickly charge into a Cobra line and kill them all by himself. I mean, it wouldn't take long at all. It really wouldn't. And you can't stun him with flamers. That cheat that's going up to those cobras and just butt raping them all like nothing, dude. He's getting it. He's getting it. He's fucking getting it, dude. He's just fucking just walking up there. Like I said, not in this video, but in the tier list, you know, Chieftain, like with the base tier list sort of deal. Uh, Chieftain, you know, when he's on the field, everything's a playground to him. Cobras are his slides. He just likes to slide on them. And that's what he's doing. He's just sliding on them. He's just going whee, you know what I mean. Like he's having fun. He's having fun just seeing tires fly up into the upper atmosphere. Like he's just having fun, dude. He's getting it. He's getting it with those cobras. He's just killing them like left and right. Cyclops, no diff. Like there's absolutely no point to build this against a chieftain because he's not gonna let you fucking heal. I mean, unless like I don't know. Unless you're building these motherfuckers at your base, but like I feel like the whole point of a Cyclops is to heal in battle. You know what I mean? And Cheetah can just pull your tanks, so there's no point in having these guys at all. And you know, Chopper, uh, Yeah. Oh shit! I just not realized that's the one thing we're missing. It's a chopper. It's so insignificant that I forgot about it. Yeah, that's another unit. But I mean, honestly, this thing doesn't change anything. Like any of this shit down here doesn't change their positions at all. Because it's so insignificant that it might as well not even be in the game. It's like a Covenant version of the Vulture. You know what I mean? Even, but it does have. I mean, even if Vulture has a use, a chopper doesn't. Like, there's no point in building these things at all. Hawks. Definitely more. It's definitely on the more mid-tier side of struggles against. Like I said, you have vamps, but even vamps are Hawks are kind of an issue because if you're not paying attention at all times, a cryo bomb could get a surprise on you, and those Hawks are gonna be tearing your asshole open. So it's definitely in the more mid-tier of struggles against, but yeah, it's not big of a deal really. Grunts, you're definitely strong against them. You're not really, yeah. I mean, the mainline infantry, the best thing they're really good against is like air, but like, no one, let's be real, no one builds it for air counters, not really, unless they're like ODSTs. But, um, yeah, I mean, same as the Marines, like these two, they just kind of go together and in the same tier. Like, there's nothing that they could really do against you as Chieftain. I mean, even the chopper could kill them. So if that tells you anything, yeah. Well, actually, I don't know. Could it? Could a marine? I know grunts could probably get killed by a chopper, but I don't know about marines. Marines with rockets probably would kill a chopper. So, yeah. I mean, yeah. They're just both go down there though, because they're just both equally as useless against a chieftain. I mean, you can have 100 of these guys and they wouldn't even hurt a chieftain's health. So what's the point? If anything, they're gonna make it worse for you because you're just gonna feed his vortex even faster with more marines. So yeah, fuck that. Vampire. Uh, I say lower end of struggles against is because I mean it is still an issue if another covenant leader builds them against you. Um, because as chieftain you definitely want engineers because you have so much fucking health, fucking ads, you have so much fucking health as chieftain, and um you want engineers, you know what I mean, you want engineers, but like um vamps can obviously prevent that from happening because chieftain has so much health you have to heal, and you're gonna need at least like 5 engineers just to heal them effectively, I feel. That's what I usually have. Either like 3 to 5, 3 in the mid game, 5 in late game, because PT turrets will fuck you up bad. If you don't have like a shit ton of stars, so I typically would have more. And even if you have stars, the lower your health is, it takes you so much longer to heal. So you need like a bunch of engineers to really prevent. Like you want chieftain on the field at all times, and having those extra 2 engineers makes a huge difference because like you quickly get them back on the field over and over and over again, and just he's your frontline tank that you want him to be on the field at all times. Is what I'm getting at. Uh, but yeah, a vampire trying to prevent that is a big issue. You definitely want to have uh, someone to take out those fucking vamps so they don't take out your engineers. ODST, I don't think he's weak against it, but it's definitely like probably behind the Hawk. It's not as big of an issue as the Hawk, but it's definitely a pain in the ass. Even with Jackals, ODSTs are really good at lockdown. But again, cheats and can just suck them up. So it's definitely not weak against, but or strong against, but it's definitely like a struggle. PT Scorpions definitely on the higher end of struggles against. I would say. I mean, I'm gonna change this all later, but I'm just gonna leave them there for now. Uh, yeah, PT tanks are obviously great at PT tanks. You can never be strong against. Not even as Captain Cutter. Not even as Captain Cutter can you be strong against PT tanks. Everyone struggles against PT tanks, as they are the jack of all trades. As I always mention, they do just everything. They have good maneuverability, decent speed, good firepower, good durability, good anti-air capabilities for some reason. Like they're just really good all around. Like they're jack of all trades to the max core. They don't give a fuck. They're really good. Good. They're super good. Um, yeah, this gonna be there for now though. Grizzly, big Bubba tank. I definitely don't think he's strong against it. I think it's definitely struggles, but like I'll leave it there for now. Uh, because like I said, he is one to build infantry, and that's the one unit that is very, very, very strong against infantry. Grizzlies are probably the best unit in the game against. Actually, scratch that. They are the best units in the game against infantry. Obviously they don't kill as fast as jackals, but jackals don't have to. Grizzlies don't have to worry about being one tapped. Jackals have to worry about that. I think an ODST RPG a Jackal would kill it instantly, if I'm not mistaken. If not, almost damn near. You know what I mean? So like a Grizzly, you don't have to worry about that shit. A single Grizzly could take out like a few squadrons pretty quickly. Um, yeah, definitely. I mean, with that extra HP pool and the good firepower and the scrap node that is designed to kill infantry, yeah, it's definitely up in struggles against. But where I we'll have to see that later once I place everything up there. Banshee, we already discussed it. Hornet, strong against. It's just butt fucking useless against, especially against Covenant. Uh, Hornets can get to the surprise on someone early game, obviously. Like if you're Forge and you're double pumping Hornets, yeah, that is definitely surprising. And you definitely get to jump on someone with a bunch of Hornets, but a few Vams can easily counter an army of Hornets. Like you have like let's say for instance you have like 15 Hornets, and the Covenant comes over with like I don't know like six Vamps. Those Vamps are probably winning. I'm not gonna lie, those Vamps are probably gonna win. I know that sounds a little ridiculous, but that's how weak Hornets are, though. If anything, those Hornets, like most of those Hornets, are gonna be like very weak by the time they kill those six fucking Vamps with 15 of them. Yeah, it's that fucking crazy. Um, they're just so weak. They have so little HP. Their damage is actually kind of nice. Like their damage is like nice burst, but um, it's just they just die too quick to be very useful. Honor guard strong against. There's just nothing you can really do, to be honest. I'll be real. Um, yeah, I'll leave them there. Actually, early game. Um, if we're talking about like early game, like 5 to like 15 minutes mark sort of deal. I think Honor Guard would. I think Honor Guard would go in weak against. Actually, I'm gonna place them there. I think because of their now, if a Prophet's like mainlining them, no. But if a Prophet has like a few Honor Guards, they're definitely doing some work actually. Because they actually do a lot of damage to Brutes. They hurt bad early game. The mid game is where that guy belongs. That's why he's here. Because early game, a few honor guards can actually body a chieftain. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Like if you didn't commit to building your chieftain to high level and upgrades, those a few honor guards will literally body his ass. It's actually kind of embarrassing. Um, yeah, it's rough. Like honor guards are actually very fucking insane against a chieftain early game. Warthogs, I'd say strong against. I just don't think they're really doing a whole lot. Like if you know what you're doing as chieftain, Warthog rush should not be that big of an issue for you because brutes with upgrades can practically two tap them. Not that quick, but you know what I mean. They do a lot. You have hunters, you have chieftain that can just destroy warthogs. If it's an upgraded chieftain, especially, like it takes a lot of warthogs to really wear him down. Um, yeah, I don't know. If you have like not as much crowd control, like of not as upgraded vortex from chieftain, you don't have the electric shot from brutes. Or if you don't have like hunters, if you don't have like good crowd control, I definitely think it would be a little bit higher. I don't know. For the most part, though, like I feel like it'd be pretty easy to counter. When I played Cheetah back in the day, I hardly ever had issues with Warthogs because Chieftain typically is the one that's rushing anyway. Unless like multiple people are rushing you with Warthogs, you're not gonna have much of an issue. I feel. Wolverine struggles against, I think, lower end of struggles against. It's the anti-air guy. You know, he can kill your engineers. Not that fun to deal with sometimes. They're pretty good against, infantry in general. They can do quite a bit of damage with their Y ability. They can do a bit of damage to your vehicles, your bases. They're kind of like a jack of all trades as well, kind of like the Scorpion, but they replaced their ability with movement, and they replaced their ground damage with air damage. So that's kind of the Wolverine. It's kind of like a jack of all trades as well. It's just against bird cheats, it's a lower end because um, it's lower end because fucking Wolverines just only attack air, obviously, pretty much. Like I said, they do well against ground, but not well enough to beat this motherfucker with brutes and hunters. Um, Scorpion and Engineer. Or Scorpion, Scarab and Engineer. I put these two together usually because they're kind of this partner in crime sort of deal. I kind of explain that a lot, but um, because he's Covenant and because he has a lot of crowd control as Chieftain, and brutes are also really good against air. Not, I wouldn't say they're good against engineer groups though. I'd say they're more like around here, up maybe more in the mid tier side of struggles against. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's a good spot for them really. Uh, like I said, I'm gonna be looking at the struggles against list a little bit more firmly in a minute, but just stick with me now. Spartans. Um, it's always so hard for me to rate Spartans because, like, I mean, obviously they want to be partnered up with these tanks. So, like, if Spartans get like the 14 armor, 13 armor, like, yeah, he's gonna be weak against it. But like, you also gotta consider them in early to mid game. It's, I don't know. I'm gonna just leave them there for now. We'll decide. We'll decide. Um. Okay. So let's look at strong against first. See if there's anyone that's worthy in this tier to actually go up against struggles against. Like just maybe I misjudged something. Maybe. Uh. No. 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 I think all the guys that strong against that's where they all belong. Struggles against. So from left to right, so left is being, the strongest, and right and the bottom is the weakest. Right now I'm saying the Spartan's the weakest, but that's not true. I gotta reorganize this. So, um, I do want to put the leaders in front for each tier. So I think Prophet's a bigger issue than Forge. I think Forge is basically like the weakest person against a Chieftain, honestly. Strongest leader against him is probably Anders. Second strongest, yeah, Cap Cutter. Third strongest, Arbiter. Yeah, I can agree with that. Um, I think. Hmm. I think Hawks are. I'm kind of big on putting them in weak against. I don't know. It's kind of hard, like, just because of the cryo bomb. Like, I don't know. Like, they're definitely in the higher. Like, it's. I definitely say it's the highest unit it struggles against. I would say. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where to put that Hawk. I want to put it in weak against, but at the same time, it's like he has vamps. So it's like it really depends on the match, you know what I mean? So it's really hard for you to place these Hawks, and like with Cryo Bomb, you gotta be so careful. You gotta be so careful with Cryo Bomb, because if they Cryo Bomb your vamps, you lost. So that's why it's like it could go anywhere between weak and struggles against. Um, yeah, I'm just gonna leave him there. I'm gonna leave him there. Because I don't think he's weak against it. Because if you're a Covenant and you're prepared for it, then it's no problem. But I don't know. ODST. I'm gonna I'm gonna leave them there. I'm gonna look at the rest of them, see if anyone deserves to go up or not. Um, you know what? I'm a. This might be a hot take, but I'll put Grizzly in weak against. I just think because his infantry is his prime, priority sort of deal. You know what I mean? And Brutes don't have a lot of health. Like they do a lot of damage, but they don't have the most health. Um, so I think they go a weak against actually. The more I think about it, I think they go in weak against just because they do. Yeah, they just don't have a lot of health, and Grizzlies make sure of that even further. Like Grizzlies are really fucking strong against like infantry. They have the extra health. Yeah, they're. I'd say Grizzlies are probably the strongest, even though Forge is down here. But I just think Grizzlies, they do belong in there though, because you are trying to build infantry the most. I think. Um, hmm. I. You know what? Um, I'm actually gonna put Scarab and Engineer in weak against as well. The main reason is because Chieftain's known for his crowd control, and he can't really do that against he can't make any use of his crowd control abilities against a Scarab or an Engineer. You just can't. And yeah, the Vortex would be able to hit all the Engineers at once, but I feel like if you don't have like a huge Vortex going, the Engineer would be able to beam the Chieftain down pretty quickly, and yeah, you just wouldn't be able to kill it. Now, of course, Chieftain would probably escort with an army, but I just don't think if it's an army of brutes, I just don't think you're gonna be able to take it down with just brutes. You definitely need like hunters and banshees, which is such a niche combination to have, especially if there's UNSC on the other side. I don't know. It's hard for me to really say. I think it would be the toughest one to fight. Like these two together would be a really tough to fight, though. Um, yeah, I was leaving there. Hunter, I definitely think goes on the lower end of probably the weakest counter, honestly. just because you're not really worried about them too much because you're not building vehicles. Um, Jackals and Flamers. I think they should go in. I don't know. Maybe no. I think Jackal might be a bigger issue than ODST though. Actually, I think if you're building a lot of brutes, I think Covenant leaders would build a lot of Jackals then to counter you. Honestly, and if you have a high level Chieftain, I can definitely see them building more Jackals because of that as well. But ODSTs are definitely better than Flamers, so I'll leave it like that. Banshee, I leave it back here because I think air typically for me anyway when I play Chieftain because I main Chieftain. I'm a Chieftain main. I usually build like 2/3 of my army infantry and the other third air as just support. Um, so I think like um in general, I think that banshees are just less of an issue. Vampire, same thing because you're also building air. Well, actually, I put vampire ahead of banshees. Actually, I think banshee would be a little bit less of an issue than vamps, just because yeah, vamps they're dealing with your engineers. It's kind of annoying. You don't want your engineers to die and everything. Yeah, it's just kind of annoying. I actually say Wolverine's even more of an issue than well, no, it's not. Because brutes are really good against Wolverines, and they can jump jet. They're fast as fuck. They could probably stun the vehicle and kill it. I don't know. Be pretty easy to do, I think. Scorpion. I might actually. I don't know. Uh, Scorpion is always so hard for me to rate because like it's such a good unit. It's never you're never strong as a Scorpion. That's for sure. Um, honestly, like if you ask me, I hardly like in my experience, I hardly ever have an issue with Spartans. I'm not gonna lie. Because it's so hard for them to level up their Spartans. Because when I play Chieftain, I am aggressive as fuck, especially if my allies follow up. Um, because typically, like in the early game, I'm just farming. I'm farming the whole time. I build temple first. I send my chieftain out, and I am just farming the whole fucking time. You won't see my chieftain for like 10 to 15 minutes unless you're deliberately looking for him. I'm farming, every objective on the map, all the bases. If my ally wants a second base, my chieftain's there getting it for him. I am aggressive as fuck. My chieftain's everywhere. My chieftain's all over the goddamn place. He's just getting it, dude. He's getting his XP. He's gonna be 2-star before you even see his ass. More than likely. Um, he's gonna be 2-star before you even see him, and I'm gonna have like 2 upgrades on him more than likely before you even see his ass. So you're already gonna be dealing with a force shielded chieftain most of the time if you play against me. But uh, I don't know. I think And like the thing is too, I play super aggressive against Spartans because I know they're my weakness. So I guess because of the fear that I have against PT Scorpions, I would play them in here. I'm gonna place them in the lower. Like I would place Grizzly ahead of Honor Guard. I think Grizzly's top weakness against me, honestly, because it's even hard to kill because it has so much more health. It's a lot harder for me to kill a Spartan in that, unless like I'm able to get away with a stun on one of them. You know what I mean? But the stun has a cooldown too. Well, no, it doesn't. The pull, the pull does. When he automatically pulls a vehicle, that has a cooldown, but his stun doesn't. It's just random. But it's random when he pulls. I was trying to say. But yeah, I'd say Scorpion's a little bit lower end for me. I say Honor Guard's like definitely would be up here. For It's only early game though. It's only early game. That's the only reason why this guy's up here. But this is like main issue. I know Forge is down here, but well, Forge and Prophet are down here. But and their units are up here. So it may seem kind of weird, but I'm talking about like their powers. Like their powers aren't doing a whole lot. Like yeah, like his powers specifically designed to fight infantry, but like it doesn't do a whole lot. It really don't. I could easily out heal it with engineers. I could heal my guys almost instantly, like because it doesn't kill them. That's the thing. Like if your infantry are even remotely upgraded, they're not dying to a carbon bomb, even if it's like max level, unless you're building fucking grunts. Brutes could jump out of it, so I don't gotta worry about brutes dying to it. Hunters are too tanky to die to it. Like yeah, like the units I'm building typically won't have an issue with carbon bomb because like they can always avoid it. Like brutes can always avoid it. Hunters can tank it, and I can just heal my chieftain no problem. And my chieftain will just like it'll tickle his balls like a little bit. Like he'll feel like breeze against his ball sack, like, and that's it. Like that's all that matters. Like that's why his power specifically is down there, but his units up here. Cause like it is like definitely a big issue, Grizzly against my army typically, but I don't know. I guess it's hard for me to like. It's hard for me to put no bias into it because I know how I play Chieftain. So I don't know. Because I know it's hard for other players to get their Spartans upgraded unless they're feeding off my ally. But for me, like I'm just getting it, dude. Like I'm making sure they notice me, sort of deal. You know what I mean? Um, I don't know. I think Forge really just goes down there though because his power. Like yeah, I don't know. Profits unit well it goes up there because of early go, like I said. Grizzly's is so hard to like fight against because it's just so tanky and like even with brutes and shit, like you gotta make sure you gotta stun the hell out of them and stunning a Spartan in those Grizzlies is so hard. Unless they just leave a Grizzly behind to die, kind of deal. Like if they know that like they can't save it no matter what, then yeah, like you just got a free Spartan killed. But um, I just uh I don't know if I'm putting bias into it or not. I really don't. Like, I'm not trying to, but I feel like I am putting bias on that Grizzly. I just feel like that's like the unit I have the most problem with, though. When I play Chieftain. Because it's so hard to fight. Like, Covenant definitely had the bigger issue with Grizzly, because Scorpions aren't an answer for you. You know what I mean? Brutes are pretty good against them, but it's like they don't have the HP pool to really match a Grizzly. That's the problem. I don't know. Am I putting bias on that Grizzly? Am I? Like, fuck. You know what? Because of that, I changed my mind. I'll move the Scorpion. I'm gonna say the Scorpion's a bigger issue than Hawk. If you get like Spartans in them, I'll put Spartans up there too. Fuck it, because Hawk could go in either one of those vehicles, right? But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna leave them there. I'm gonna leave them in between Scorpion and Hawk. Um, like if they because if they can pull it off to get a high level Spartan, it's always an issue. It's always gonna be a higher end issue for sure. So they can easily go in either one of these vehicles. That's why he's in between the both of them. I think Grizzly's the hardest one to counter for me. You just don't have much of an answer to it as Covenant. You really don't. I think Cheetah has the most answers to it. I don't know, because the way I see it, Prophet builds air, right? He wants to prioritize air. Which I guess if you're fighting against Grizzlies, I guess you would want to build air as Chieftain. I just against his base kit though. We're talking about his base kit, right? All of his units are weak against a Grizzly. Um, and I guess for my playstyle specifically, yeah, Grizzly does counter me. I had the biggest issue with Grizzlies. Um, I don't know if I really can't be sure if I'm being biased or not. I just feel like I've had a lot of issues with Grizzlies though. I know anytime I've seen them, I've had huge issues with them. I'm just gonna leave the tier list like that, honestly. Uh, I think Chieftain has actually the most, or the least amount of weaknesses. Actually, to be honest with you, at least based off my opinion slash playstyle. I don't know, but the thing is, it's like there's a lot more to be wary of as Chieftain. I feel like there's a lot. I think this is the biggest struggles against list I've had. Um, because there is a lot of weaknesses for sure. There is a lot of struggles. And there's a lot of like big struggles and there's a lot of big characters like Scorpion, Spartan, Hawk. There's a lot of things in struggles against that are like really they're pretty big threats. You know what I mean? Like they're borderline between weak against and struggles against. So like, but compared to these units up here, like early game is just disgusting. These fuckers, and I think Scarab and Engineers are just really hard to fight as Cheaton. Honestly, I just don't really have like me thinking right now. I don't even know how to fight one. To be honest with you, I think Scarab. I think the tankier units are honestly tougher for Covenant to deal with because they don't have as much bursty attacks. Like I said before, Covenant are more like streamlined, like deep, like solid DPS, whereas UNSC are like hard bursters, which is why it's hard to fight engineers when they're supporting a Scarab as Covenant because like uh you know you don't have that extra burst. UNSC have that huge burst. Like you have the Scrapnels, you have the Cobras, you have the you have all that extra burst. You have the Mac Blast, for extra damage as well for a huge burst. They're bursters. UNSC are burster units basically, whereas Covenant more DPS. And DPS is a lot easier for engineers to counter against because they have a solid, their healing works like DPS. You know what I mean? So it's harder to fight against. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think this is like a good list. I'd say. I'll leave it there. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm being biased on that Grizzly. It does even to me it looks weird that it's the number one weakness, but like when I play Chieftain, I feel like it is. I honestly feel like it is. Like I feel like I have the biggest problems with Grizzlies because I feel like I don't have much of an answer to them. Like I know I can build hunters, I know I can build brutes. Like if they're mainlining Grizzlies, yeah, I can counter it. But it's when they have Spartans in them that's because of an issue. That's what I'm talking about. Like when they have Spartans in them and they're building banshees and shit, or not banshees, but like you know what I mean. Like they have air control because they're gonna have Wolverines of those Grizzlies as well. It's just really hard for me to come up with an idea to fight them then. Because I would typically combo them with Hunters and Banshees to fight Grizzlies, but if they're building Wolverines on top of that, like, it's so hard to fight. Because they're just so tanky. Like, they're like mini Scarabs. And Hunters just don't do the best of jobs to, counter them. And the reason why Grizzly is a bigger issue than Prophet is Prophet can, like, typically Prophet can, like, go behind enemy lines and displace units because, units can teleport through the leader's teleporter to, get to their leader. So you can have Prophetess teleport Hunters behind the enemy and then have a Hunter line in front of the enemy. So you can just box them in. which then would just be a clusterfuck. But you can't do that as Chieftain, and he's not invisible like Arbiter. I just don't think you can really get the surprise on anyone. That's the big thing. You can't surprise them. Like if hunters are surrounding you, then yeah, hunters are really threatening. But like as Unit C, I mean, but it's hard to do that as Chieftain. Um, I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it there. I just feel like I do have the most problems. I don't know why it is like that. I just feel like I do have the most problems with Grizzlies. I don't know. Like I said, these three units right here are also borderline weak against, but I don't think I have as much of an issue, like personally, with these three. But like I said, you know, Chiefs definitely has the most struggles, I think, out of all the tiers. I don't know. I forget what the other ones look like, but I think this is probably the most we've had. But I'm gonna just close this out real quick. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's where I believe everything belongs. You can kind of see why. Um, I said before, like in vanilla, or not vanilla. You can kind of see why I said this could be the last tier list though, because this does, between all these tier lists, they do cover everything that I had left to say about Halo Wars. Um, but this is it. I mean, if you made it this far, congratulations. You have reached the end of the great era of my tier lists forever in Halo Wars. I will never do one again. I think. I'll be honest, because there's just nothing else to talk about. They're not doing that well for popularity, like view wise and shit. And to be honest, I'm kind of getting to the point where I'm kind of getting tired of talking about them. You know what I mean? Because like it's kind of the same thing over and over and over again. Like, because even with the mods, like scorpions are still overpowered, hawks are still overpowered, vampires are still overpowered. Like, you know what I mean? Like these units are still like meta picks even in mods. So like, what's the point of talking about it? And another thing is like the game is pretty much dead. Who's even checking it out? Because I was looking for a game in Halo Wars, I could not find nothing, nothing at all. Um, because I wanted to try to PvP again to see, I was gonna try to do, I was gonna try to do a questionable strategy, which was gonna be Marines with Grizzlies, and I thought that'd be kind of fun to do, try to see how well it works. But I couldn't do it at last. Because the game, I know I was on peak hours, but the fact that you have to do that in general means that the game is pretty much dead. For all intended purposes, it's like not many people are playing it. Um, because I think even at peak hours, it was like 100 people maybe. So yeah, but this is the end. You made it to the final Halo Wars tier list. I won't lie, it is kind of like one of those things like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, damn, the last one sort of deal. And I know I said that in the past, but like this really is probably the last one because, like I said, there is nothing else to talk about. There is nothing, and because of the lack of success on them, that was the only reason I did it again to begin with, was because they were doing really well back then. But even now, they are just doing not great. So, and like I said, I'm just kind of getting tired of talking about them. I like talking about it. Don't get me wrong, but it's like it's gotten to the point now where everyone knows what works, what doesn't work, what you need for every unit. You know what I mean? Like everyone knows. Halo Wars isn't really that in depth of a system for even old players to like, old or new, for them to be completely confused on like what should I build. You know what I mean? Because it literally says anti-infantry, anti-vehicle. You have an idea. You already have an idea just based off of. Sorry, I'm just playing with tabs right now. You have an idea of what is weak, strong, and everything. You have an idea. Um, and that's kind of why I do think that this is going to be the final Halo Wars video I ever do, because there's not much of a point to really make one anymore. And whether or not I do another Halo Wars video, um, I probably will, but not anytime soon. Um, I'm just kind of burnt out at this point, and they're just the videos aren't doing too well as they used to. So there's really no point for me to do them anymore, honestly. But I'm not gonna make a big thing like I did last time where I said this was the final video sort of deal. But because I don't think it will be the final video. Like this is the final tier list for sure. Like I can tell you that with utmost certainty that this is the last tier list I'll ever do on Halo Wars. But I don't know if it's the last Halo Wars video I'll do. So I'm just gonna say it, the end of an era for tier list. That's what the video is gonna be called. The title. And yeah, it certainly has been a hell of a journey, to be honest. Um, I don't really have much else to say other than I'll be posting other things now. Now that these tiers are finally all out the way, I'll finally be streaming more. I'm gonna be streaming a lot more now. Um, not probably not like every day. I'll be making an update on that, but that's for another video to talk about, I suppose. Anyway, guys, that's it. The final Halo Wars video. Finally, after God, when did this channel start? Like 2021, maybe something like that. I think I made the first tier list back in 21 or 22, maybe even like 2020. It might have been that year too. I don't know. I don't know when the first tier list came out, but that I did. Point is, it's been probably over 1,000 days since I started my first ever tier list, and here we are at the very end. We've talked about quite literally everything. Again, if you want to see the rest of the tier list, like I do have a tier list playlist, but I mean like in regards to each leader's weaknesses, strongest, counters against, everything else like that. They will be in the description below. As well as the main base unit tier list as well. That will also be there. All right, guys. If you have made it this far and you've watched all the other tier lists, then golly, I would call you a fucking legend because this has been probably like 10 hours collectively with all the tier lists. This has probably been well over 10 hours. And holy shit, if you watched all of them, congratulations, man. You are a W viewer, let me tell you. Um, Gave yourself a pat on the back, dude. Like, hot damn. If you watched all these motherfuckers. But, yep, the final one. Oh, we're gonna talk about this shit again. Buddy. Because I really do feel like I've talked about everything with Halo Wars. I'm burnt out at this point. So, yeah, without any further ado, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll be making an update later today of what we'll be doing forward, probably. Or maybe not today, but tomorrow. Sort of deal. That's it. Goodbye now, everyone. Have a good day, and I'll see you.